Good morning. Good morning across the pond in particular. I don't wish to address Americans today. I'm not fed up with America, but I'm fed up with the United States corporations completely. And I'm dressed in my holy robe. It's holy because my dog has made it holy. My God, there's no tears on this cuff. I swear she put holes all the way through it. I guess I'm a liar again. Oh, there I go. There's the hole. My dog is blessed. Come on up here and show yourself. Introduce yourself. Come on up here. Show yourself to the world. Come on. Oh, yeah. You take good care of me. Yes, you do. That's Lorraine. I am known as Dr. John Taylor Kent. I'm an American citizen, a landed citizen born in New Hampshire. The last king of England, I'm talking seriously now, and you're not going to want to believe me, or maybe you are, I don't know. And I actually don't care right now. But let me speak my truth and let me have my words with you over there in the old homeland in England and in the county of Kent and up in the land of Scotland. And I'd love to be able to just joke and say I don't have any Irish blood in me and I don't give a damn about you Irish. But the fact is that you're where Jeremiah the prophet landed a long time ago and brought great things with him to the islands. So you got part and parcel in this, that's for sure. The last king of England gave my family a land grant in New Hampshire on the Great Bay. It included what is called Adams Point. Ansel Adams, you might have heard of him. He was a neighbor. I was a little boy when the Adams were still alive, and I have recollections of wandering on the porches there because it was a big place, and the porch went all the way around the place. I mean, and the house was several levels, and they were older folks back when I knew them. They were actually older than my grandparents at the time. And the lands next to it were the Kent lands. And the bankers, tried to tell my father about this, and he wouldn't have it. He wouldn't listen to me. And I was probably speaking out of turn and out of time. But here I am. I'm an old man, and I am definitely running out of time. So let me have my turn if you don't mind, please, I beg you. The Kents were an interesting family. I am the last of the Kents of this particular branch of the family. I'm also the oldest one alive today. And I guess it'll be that way till I pass away. But the oldest Kent lived to be 98 years old. His name was Ralph Elbridge Kent. Roy Elbridge Kent. His father, my grandfather, was Ralph Elbridge Kent. We have an old cemetery down there on the old homestead, and I have wheelwrights in perpetuity to it. I can maintain the graves. I would like to do that. There's also some graves down by the shore that are not marked and that get occasionally washed up and washed out. And my Uncle Roy would occasionally get a phone call, and he would go down and he would take care of the old bones. So what I want to tell you in England is that your last king of England gave my family the land grant. I want to make this very clear to you that this is not your present king at all. Yet he has the same name. King Charles was your last king. He gave the Kents a land grant in his last, I believe it was his last month of life, or if not, his last month as as king. And that was in January of 1649. Now, as you know, a land grant from the king, well, maybe you don't know this, but land grants in the county of Kent, the largest county, I think probably still the largest county, were given special privileges. And that is that me and my family were given special rights. We were given lands in perpetuity. Not only that, it was considered a Lloydal title. You didn't have that kind of land rights in the rest of the counties in England. And I don't know if there's what I would call a good reason for that. But the fact is that the land granted by the king in the rest of England could be taken back by the king. The land granted in the county of Kent could not be taken back by the king. It was a permanent land grant. It was a Lloydal. You had rights to all of the minerals below the land, and you had air rights to everything above the land in the county of Kent. And when we came to the New World over here, it persisted. And it's still in effect today. Yes, I want my lands back, and I'll be getting them back. My estate. And I think I'm going to have an estate. And I think I'm going to actually have some inheritors that are going to definitely carry on the good fight. I know you're going to think, this guy's out of his gourd. This guy's crazy. Well, yeah, there's some evidence of that, if you will. I think I overcame that pretty much. I mean, you can ask those who trained me. You can ask those who know me. You can ask those that are around me these days, and they know that I'm a peculiar individual. But the Kents were peculiar. You see, the reason the Kents got those rights is because we provided the king with his armies. The Kents were extremely good at warfare. Now, on the other hand, I'm a little bit different than most of them. You see, I don't like killing very much. At least I haven't tried it yet. I don't know. Who knows? I might actually take a liking to it. But, I haven't done it yet. I don't want to do it now either. But I'm trying to free you as best I can so that you will understand what you can do right now. No, I don't care much for your food. I didn't get to visit Stonehenge. I was busy chasing an American chick at some castle who was also abroad studying when I was visiting there, which I deeply miss. And I remember taking the tube, and London was, I don't know, man, a little too confusing for me, a little too tight, way too many people for me, and that was back then. I don't know what you're dealing with today. But I'm going to tell you that the guests you have do need to leave, that's for sure, and they will leave. They're going to want to leave. But you need your king. I'm not your king. I don't want the job. But your real king doesn't even reside on the islands anymore. He resides in Australia. I don't know him personally. I've seen videos of him, or they claim he's the true inheritor. I think he is. I don't know if the man I saw is still alive or not. He was older at the time I saw the videos. And I'm no young spring chicken. But I think that he loves his life the way it is, and he made it very clear. He wasn't interested in becoming king, which is a wise thing to be saying if you want to stay alive in this world today. But he's a sheep rancher, a sheep shepherd. Imagine that. He loves what he does. He says he doesn't want the job, which I think is the sign of a noble man. But he says he would accept the job provided the people of England drafted him. If they demanded that he serve as their king, he would serve as your king. I think you ought to take him up on it. He's actually from the royal bloodline. You see, what happened is that when my ancestors helped conquer England, we carried over the enemy with us. We were dumb and stupid. We didn't realize what we were doing. Believe me, if we'd have known that those were the enemy, we would have put them to death on the other side, back at Normandy. We would not have allowed them to come over with us. We wouldn't have brought that plague with us. My ancestor was a captain during that invasion. And we won. We certainly did. Great cost. I can't imagine warfare back then. I can't imagine being a young Brit growing up with bones deformed from firing arrows, from pulling back those longbows and letting those son of a bitches fly, where we got the famous words, pluck you. Hey, if I'm wrong, let me know. I will be gratefully corrected from across the channel. Now, I am sending this to a friend of mine who I actually is, she's been there recently. She's buried her mother recently. And I'm sure that you'll be getting this message from her. I'd like you to take your lands back. I'd like you to restore your king. I'd like you to get rid of your complete parliament. They're nothing but a bunch of evil bastards. You see, the parliament back then beheaded your king, your last king. And the parliament, Mr. Cromwell apparently talked them into this, was convinced they could rule without a king. So you have an intercessionary period. I don't remember the formal name. That might be it, though. And for 10 years, the parliament ruled without a king. And that's where you ended up losing your kings. He was murdered. He was put to death. From what I understand, he conducted himself in a way that didn't please other people very well. I don't think they understood him. I say that because I'm not very well understood either. And I am tired of not being understood and not being heard. Our particular president is not the president of America. See, America ceased to exist, and it was peculiar because of your phony kings. And the date America ceased to exist was March 4th of 1813. The Great Reset was 1812. If Napoleon was around, we could have a conversation with Mr. Bonaparte, and we could ask him, what was your mission in Moscow? I think that's an important question you need to ask. And I think that you will find that Mr. Bonaparte was called to duty. They screamed at him from Moscow. The Tsar Alexander called for his help because he had tackled something that was too big for him to manage. Now, I don't have the historical facts or the evidence, but I'm sure you have it. And I know that we've got some pretty good historians. And if your people can't handle it, I know there's some youngsters over here that want to make a name for themselves. They want to make their mark and they want to contribute to the building of this new world. If it'll take, if it will last, how long it will last, I don't know. I'm not sure. It does depend upon you over there. You have a little piece of property over there that's a lot like we have over here. In the old days, we would hear about a triumvirate ruling Rome, 3 Caesars at one time, 3 in 1, like 3 in 1 oil, like a 3 in 1 man, like we had with Abraham Rothschild, Springsteen, Lincoln. He was a 3 in 1 man. He was not president of America. But we all were fooled here. We thought he was president. We gave him too much power. But he did what he did. And in some ways, it was marvelous. But in most ways, it wasn't. Because he never should have been at the helm to begin with. Had he not been elected president, Judah P. Benjamin of the South wouldn't have been able to get away with his ploy run by your crown on the Thames River by the Rothschild bastards. I know we all think it means Red Shield, because it does mean Red Shield, and the name before that was Bauer, but they had several other names all the way back to the sun gods, Rothschilds. They come from the old country back there. That's right. If you examine them, you may find different skull shapes, different skull types. But of course, I'm sure that you can't take them apart while they're alive, can you? Actually, you probably could do some x-rays and things. You'll figure it out, I'm sure. But you know, I think you probably figured that here's a man, an old guy that can't take care of himself. No, I'm not very good at it at this point. I am worn out. I'm worn out from the frauds and the thievery from among what's supposed to be my own people here. And my parents were extremely disappointed because I never became an attorney. Thank God I didn't become a bar bastard. And, you know, I didn't become a medical doctor, which is what I really wanted to do. Because I knew that I had some skills and some talents, and I knew that I cared. But I had a little trouble dealing with blood. But I was dissuaded from it by the Jews in Winthrop, Massachusetts, who discriminated against my Gentile ass. They made sure to torpedo my education because they didn't want me succeeding. They wouldn't allow me to take Latin class because they didn't want me to succeed. And they thought they were going to destroy me and humiliate me and show how good their students were. So they sent me to a little place across the bay, to a building. It was the old building. The steps were so big I couldn't walk up them straight. I was so small I had to walk up them at an angle. I had to walk up them almost sideways. My parents dropped me off. I had to walk up. I was the one being tested. Okay, fine. Mr. Appleton, my biology teacher in Winthrop, Massachusetts, insisted I take the test. I had only been a student in his class for about a month, maybe 6 weeks. But he insisted I was going to take the college entrance examination in biology. So I did as commanded. I did as ordered. My parents thought, well, your teacher's telling us to do that. The teacher is the expert, the authority. And Mr. Appleton was a Jewish man. The students were Jewish students. He didn't give a rat's ass about me. I mean, the other teachers really didn't care about me either, but I remember Mr. Appleton. And I remember one of the Jewish students, one of the girls who seemed a little bit, shall we say, a little bit prematurely developed. This is 9th grade, by the way. And I'm not saying anything bad about her at all. I remember she had dark hair. She had a little bit more hair on her body than most. And she had long hair. And she was lovely, taller than I was. Sure looked older than I was. I'm just a little boy. You know, I'm weighing 70 something pounds. You know, not much. And I sat on the rug in front of the television, actually in front of the sofa, leaning my back against the sofa. Green cloth sofa, it's what the family could afford, in the house that we could afford. My dad was stationed at Boston Army Base at the time. He was the finance officer. We had sold a house in Brockton, Massachusetts. I think he got a whopping $30,000 out of it, and he made some money on it, I know that. And I would go out to Boston Army Base with my father. I also would duck hunt in Boston Harbor with my father and his friends. That was a little on the scary side, but that's another story. The T goes right past there. Now, you can't hunt there. I think you could fire a shotgun off in the direction of the T, and I don't think it'd come near it, honestly. Or if it did, it would be a light spray. That's all it would be. It wouldn't hurt anything. But you can't hunt out there anymore because we don't have any rights here in what's left of my old country. I think you need to get your king back. And I think you need to arrest the entire parliament. And I think your judges definitely need to be going to prison. I've looked at those guys. I've seen videos of how they conduct themselves. My God, they put on those robes. Yeah, I got a little bit more on than this, don't worry. And I got my slippers on my feet. I just rolled out of bed. I got my supposed supplement medicine this morning, which is bullshit because my medical benefits program has deprived me of this medicine since July, and they still won't give it to me. I'm thinking about calling them up and demanding a refund for a few months of payments into the system because they've breached the contract. It seems like a giant conspiracy, if you ask me. But just who's asking me? That little crown-shaped piece of shit on the Thames River, let's call it what it is, that's Rothschild land. You call it the City of London. It's also called the Crown Corporation. It employs more attorneys probably than anything else there because that's how they keep you enslaved. That's also how they keep me enslaved over here. You see, I'm really glad I didn't become a bar bastard. British Accreditation Regency. The King of England rules through his British Accreditation Regency over America to this very day. Forgive me. It's pretty fucked up. Plucked up? You guys better get your longbows out again. I think you need them. You better get your slingshots ready. I think you need them. I think you better turn to the Muslims and just say, hey, buddy, we've been played. We want them. Would you stand by while we go get them? And I'll bet you anything the Muslims say, hell no. We want them too. We're going in with you. Wall them off. Wall them off on the riverside as well. Don't let anything come in or go out. Your queen, last queen, wasn't even allowed to walk in there without asking permission. My God, she's the queen. Why does she have to curtsy and bow and supplicate and ask permission? Because it's not part of Great Britain. It's not quite the same over here. We can drive around the Beltway here, and we can drive right in, and we don't have to curtsy and bow and stop and acknowledge it. That's because they pulled a bigger fraud on us over here. At least you have the pomp and circumstance still going on. Then you got another city. We have it here in D.C., Washington District of Columbia. Wow, Columbia. What the hell does that mean to Americans? Well, it's another foreign jurisdiction. It was supposed to rule over itself in 1871. That's what the act gave it permission to do. But they've ruled over the whole entire world today from there because they got the might. Might makes right. And we just sent our United States Armada over there to go after the oldest civilization that remains intact on the planet. The Persians. I know you want to call them Iranians, and they sometimes want to call themselves Iranians as well, but they're Persians. Lorraine, stop scratching. Come on up here again. Come on. Oh, yeah, I know. I know. I got an important video to get off. This is for the British people. I don't like their food very much. And by the way, Stonehenge. Stonehenge is pointing at an empty part of space. That's what it was aligned with. Is it really empty? What is it about? How big is it really? Its location. And by the way, Kent County is the only place where you get a Lloydal title from the king. But before that, there was title given to a large section of land around that part of your country. I think the Welsh might be involved in that. I haven't hung out there. I don't know much about it. I'd love to visit someday if you can get her back and you get some order and some peace there. Oh, heck yeah. Blew my time. I should have gone and seen that rather than visiting the American chick that was so weird anyway. I met some black guy then who was a star, a virtual star. He had a great sense of humor, and there was nothing but American girls, college co-eds there, and they were all adoring this guy. And I'm like, what's so big? Turned out he was some sort of a star on some children's show, I believe. Imagine that. I didn't know him from anybody else, and of course, I was the only one failing to acknowledge him very much because he didn't mean anything to me. It was just a black guy that was quirky as hell and very animated and high energy, and the women seemed to be titillated by him. American women traveling abroad. Okay, I'm not going to say any more. We got a problem. You see, from what I can tell, we here that have Washington, D.C., District of Columbia ruling over us, and you over there who have the City of London, the Crown ruling over you. They appear to be the two heads of a three-headed vulture. I don't want to call it an eagle. Sorry. It's definitely a bird of prey. And the big head, it's lying dormant right now, pretending it's asleep. They're trying to sit this one out while we sort it out. That would be, of course, the third part of the triumvirate, which is also an independent nation unto itself, sitting in the middle of that wonderful place built on 7 hills or 7 mountains. Rome, the Vatican. Yeah, they've been running it mostly from there. The Jesuits who they were founded by Ignatius Loyola, whose actual name was Lopez, and he was a Marrano Spanish crypto Jew, basically, and he also was associated with the Grand Inquisition in which the Roman Catholic Church went around and hunted down real believers, real seed, real descendants of Israel. It's a long story. It's almost a tall story. It's that big. It's that wide. It's huge. We have them to deal with too. Not only that, but you have the Pope, who's commanded by his boss outside of the Vatican in a little tiny office, from which he commands all of the secret societies, including the intelligence agencies, from his little office. It doesn't look like much, doesn't need to. He's got the power, that's all that matters. This is the most powerful man, short of Satan, on the planet. That's where the power is. Every Jesuit's required to have 2 doctorates. I only have 1. I'm not planning on getting another one. However, there's somebody behind the scene, some buddies actually, and they pretend they hide behind the Rosy Cross on a white background. They pretend they are neutral. They're not neutral, and their symbol is also an 8-sided shape, an octagon. I know you think James Bond was just in the movies, but they put those symbols in front of your faces so they could hide an open sight, and you would say, that's just the movies. That's not real life. Oh, no, Dr. Kent, you're fabricating that. You're telling us a tall tale. You're telling us a story. Well, you've been with me this long. I know you'll hang out a little longer with me. The Pope sits with 2 armed guards by him in public at all times. And these guys dress up in the wildest looking costumes that I've ever seen. They are beautiful costumes. I mean, talk about pomp and circumstance and dressing up for the role. And who are they and what are they? Well, they're there just because the Swiss are really nice people, and they're there to honor the Il Papa. Really? And how far are they away from the throne? Away from the seat of the papacy? And the first bishop of Rome was crucified upside down? And he wasn't St. Peter, but he was Peter the magician. It's in the book of Acts. If you bothered to open up your Bible, you would be able to read about it. I think it's Acts 8. Could be some of it's in Acts, okay? It's in Acts. And if you read it properly, you will realize this is not Peter the apostle. This isn't St. Peter. This is Peter. Not the Samaritan. What was that place called? And I should be able to remember this. And should be able to remember because it's in the Amazon symbol. You see, Amazon goes down the road with this giant penis on the side of the truck, nice and curved upward, fully erect, with a little notch on the top representing the foreskin, I guess. And they go down the road with this giant penis on the side of the truck. I can't remember. He was a penis priest from Mesopotamia. If you look at the carved reliefs, you will see they got the big giant penises on those things. And if you read in the Bible, the prophet writes about you women worship these genitalia, the size of horses' shafts. It's theirs. It's not written in stone. It's carved in stone. You can see it. It's there. And it's painted on the sides of the trucks of Amazon. Jeff Bezos is tied into this. I think his grandfathers. You need to look at his lineage. Maybe it's his great-grandparents. You need to look carefully at that stuff. And Elon Musk, who smells to high heaven, who's definitely got his harem. He's got all the money in the world. He can afford whatever he wants. He's the one perpetuating this war over in Iran by changing the algorithm so only this horrible, ugly news gets to the American people. So the Americans think, my God, they incinerate, they burn. It's a hollow, 30,000 people in Tehran. Elon, it's all for free speech. The bullshit's free to you. He paid for it. He owns it. Or does he? Is he not part of the government? Does he not have contracts? You see, we have got, my lady friends over in Florence, Italy, kept telling me it was fascism. And at the time I thought, yeah, right. They were right. I had 2 girlfriends over there. We were friends. We hung out. We went down to Rome together to watch Carlos Santana and hitchhike back, and it's another story. But yes, ho habito molti anni fa a Firenze. My librarian there, I don't remember her name, but I hung out with her every chance I could. She told us the stories, including of the female pope that gave birth to a healthy baby boy in the middle of a square in Rome. The popes never walked through that particular intersection anymore because of that. And you've got your chair so they can inspect the jewels to make sure a chick didn't make it all the way through and become the pope, because they were kind of embarrassed by the pope giving birth to a healthy boy. And I'm aware of the other perversions that are carved in stone up in the friezes, up in the cathedrals as well. And I'm like, when I saw it, I'm like, no, man, that can't be true. And then you get a picture of it, and it's like, oh shit, I can't figure out if it's twisted. It is a twisted statue, and it's funny when you look at it. It's like, I can't believe they put that up there and told the world the whole truth about the Roman Catholic Church. Don't worry, Eastern Orthodox has a problem. All organized religions have a seat at the table in Astana, Kazakhstan. Except biblical Christianity, we don't get a seat for some reason. I'm so glad we don't. I'm so glad I didn't become an attorney. And I'm glad I didn't become a physician, because I really didn't handle blood very well. But I got the physicians beat too. They're doing nothing but killing us and murdering us left and right. This is just a genocidal machine underneath the big bosses. That's all there is to it. And that poor woman, Nancy Guthrie, who got kidnapped, she broke a bigger thing than what she realized. She thought she was just dealing with a corporation that was stealing 32 million whatever it was dollars, and no, she was dealing with a corporation that was administering lethal injections to the elderly upon command of our central government. That's right. I mean, it was fentanyl and oxycodone, and they had enough of it to kill lots of people. And we think that our government's worried about fentanyl. Oh, hell no. They don't give a rat's ass about us. They want us dead as fast as they can get us dead. That's why they've overbuilt these towers around us to bake us and cook us. And if they can figure out how to power them up all at one time, believe me, they would pull the plug on this place in a heartbeat. That's what they want to do. That's what they seem to do. Yeah, your previous prince over there, whatever his name was, that ugly fucking dude who wanted to come back as a virus. He wasn't exactly Irish, was he? So the Pope has 2 Swiss guards stationed on either side of him. And these guys have got lances. These are not toys. These are not symbolic. These are fully functional military-grade lances. And they are sitting there at the exact distance so they can drop their lances right on El Papa and kill him on the spot if he does the wrong thing. Yeah, they're guarding somebody. And you've got those bastard bankers that are hiding out in Switzerland, up in the rocks, up in the cracks, just like it says in the Bible, in the high places. And of course, Trump has got the awkward position of either destroying the world or destroying America, or he's got another choice. He could actually come out and tell the truth to the whole world. Is he a big enough man to do that? Look, as a kid, he had the audacity. I mean, he would have spit it right out back then. I hope he's got some child left back in him, because he's going to need all that strength he had back in his heyday to muster up the courage. I don't think they'll let him speak. People think what they want to think. I mean, we are living in a shared psychotic reality. They have done their black magic across all of us. We are all under their spell across the whole world. You need to understand that. And I'm doing my best to break you free from here, from my extremely lowly position. I want to use the word pauperish, but I think it's got an ugly meaning to it. It's got a secondary meaning. I know it does. Pauperish. I've been humbled. Yahweh's done this. That's okay. It's his world. It's his job. I'm part of his crew. And he fights the way he wants to fight. I thought I wanted the job, but in retrospect, it's like I bit off way too much for me to be able to chew. Yeah, I got most of my teeth left, but they're not doing real great. I don't get real good dental care here. You don't get real good dental care either. That's just the way it is. All of the professions were taken over and centralized and turned against the people, against the laity. Yeah, unfortunately, my buddy said that was Abraham Lincoln's quote. It turned out, no, that was the fellow who wrote the plays and also was a devout, what do you call him? Oh, there's a specific term for that wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a famous playwright. I'm sure you folks out there remember things far better. I've got way too much information. I would like to be able to just claim I suffer from information overload, which is actually true, but I'm also getting older too. And at this point, it's like, there's things I just don't want to remember. It's been a little too brutal and too ugly, especially in my own immediate family. So I will confess that right now. They beat my spirit. It became a kind of a family tradition, I guess, pastime. I guess everything was okay as long as they could beat me and had me to beat around. I was the scapegoat. That's all there was to it. Yeah, I was the scapegoat for whatever was wrong in the family. They made sure of it. I know that I don't know what my brother, not much of a brother, and I don't know what my sister, not much of a sister, I don't know what they tell the rest of the family, but it's gotta be something, really gotta be something. That's all I can tell you. All I know is I think I was there too. I think I see things a lot differently than they saw things. I did my best to look out for them. I just sent off an email yesterday that's going to several attorneys, and it's hopefully it gets heard around the world. I just fired off my shot last night. But who knows if it'll get around or not, if it'll make the light of day, but I sent it to the woman who actually sent me the evidence of the 13th Amendment being the law of the land here. And I have demanded this several times, but I get no traction. Nobody wants to listen to me back here. So maybe you over there will listen to me. The 13th Amendment was the law of the land, fully ratified I believe it was ratified by 10 states or more out of the 13. But we were so corrupt that somehow we sat the Bar Bastards on March 4th of 1813. And by allowing them to take the seats in the Congress, the best Congress money can buy. How's that Parliament thing doing for you? Yeah, I thought so. You just get a king back. Just get your king back. Just draft him back. And wall off those bastards. And, you know, tell your Muslim friends that they're okay. Just go back to your lands. I'm sure they don't like your food very much. I'm sure they'd like to be where they're welcome. I'm sure they'd like to be in a place where they aren't fucked with by the British Crown anymore, or what presents itself as the British Crown. Boy, I'm looking forward to the people getting control back again. I'm looking forward to see who among us is worthy of judging others. I'm looking forward to some of these young, brilliant minds that are actually able to wrap their minds around this stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, and once we stop the pollution of the air and the water and the skies are blue once again, and the land is green, the grass is green, and the skies are blue, maybe we can honor our commitments, and maybe we can thank the people that tolerated us and made it through this far with the rest of us. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of piss off to go around, isn't there? There's going to be a lot of anger, isn't there? But that's what the bad guys want. There's something to be said about Christian forgiveness, but there's a lot to be said about truth and justice. Probably even more to be said about truth and justice. Because this Christianity that runs around today is not, let me put it this way, the Messiah never authorized it. He never declared he was finding a religion called Christianity. I read the Bible. He called it two different things. He called it the faith of our fathers. He said that on 2 occasions from what I read in the New Testament. If you find more, let me know. He also called it the way. The way. Now, we have it interpreted as I am the truth and the way. Well, that's kind of hard to comprehend, isn't it? But the main thing is, he said, my Father is your Father. There's no one good but one, his own Father. He said that his Father was the Savior. I know we built up this religion, made it up. And we've gone to traditions like December 25th Christmas, which is documented in the Bible. If you bothered to research it and read it, you would read what happened on that day. That was a long time ago. Oh, that was a long time ago, Dr. Kent. Nobody remembers that. I got it. It's not exactly in the best version, but it's in a version. It is in your King James Bible, the original one from 1611, which Mr. Kent actually oversaw the writing of this. I should say the crafting of it, because he was quite a wordsman. I don't think there was ever a larger vocabulary on the planet. Mine was pretty big at one time. But it seems like I've been reduced a little bit. But, this is what the Protestants wanted to call it. Everybody else got different names for it, but it's in here. I got my reading glasses on in front of me, so let's go, shall we, to the 1611 King James Bible. I believe this isn't in Esdras. One Esdras and two Esdras. Esdras are just two more books of the prophet Ezra, who's kind of an important prophet. But we're going to go right to 1 Maccabees, chapter 1. So we'll read from verse, I really need to go a little bit further. Verse 10, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes. Oh, I had an epiphany. Did you really have an epiphany? I don't think you want one. Son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Interesting, right? In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow." The blessings of the heathen. You want to go hang out with the heathen? Why is that? Who are these heathen? So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward therein that they went to the king, who gave them license, permission to sin, to do after the ordination of the heathen. We want to do licentiousness after the ordinance of the heathen. Interesting. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. Oh, the heathen occupy Jerusalem, really. And made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen. How do you make yourself uncircumcised? And were sold to do mischief. Wow. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Must have been Seleucian, huh? Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy. And he made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. Yep. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities of the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. You got to remember that Egypt wasn't exactly Egypt then, and it was all, and they weren't the Greeks, it was the Macedonians. They screwed you up on that too. Anyway, after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. The Maccabean revolt, anyone? And entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the shewbread. It's not shrew, it's shew, S-H-E-W, bread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of oil, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoke very proudly. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were, so that the princes and the elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of the women was changed, Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she also that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. Does that remind you of anything today, ladies? The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. The fog of war, Hillary. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came into Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and the children took they captive, and possessed the cattle. They buried the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored in it also with armor and victuals, and when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. And so they became a sore snare, for it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary of Israel to Israel. Thus they shed the innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary, and defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. One world government, baby. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. Yeah, I got the book over here. You need to see this thing. I'm sorry. You're just gonna. It's way over on the bed. It's in my other video. I'll make another video of it. I promise you. Where was I? It's hard for me to focus on these little tiny words. And everyone should leave his religions, his ways, leave his laws and all that. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath as festival days. Let's have a good time. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. They set up altars and groves, again, and chapels of idols, and sacrificed swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinance. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. He includes women, remember that. He and she should die. In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Now, the 15th day of the month, Casleu, Casleu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. Bible burning. And wheresoever was found any of the book of the Testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Thus did they by the authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now, the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. At that time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved, and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. The other story is not as I've got it right here, but it's somewhere in the books. Antiochus went into the temple and himself sacrificed a swine on the altar. The abomination of desolation, which you people who claim you're Christians are waiting for, occurred a long time ago. And you're waiting for it, and you're waiting for the building of the third temple. And there's not going to be a building of the third temple. They're going to be dictating their religion. The book is published. It was published on the 17th of this month. Let me see here. It's the 24th. So that would be, 7 from 24? It's like a week ago. It was published. I got it 2 days after it was published. They're so proud of it. It's third edition. And it's a piece of garbage. I introduced it to the church people, and they shut me up immediately because they didn't want to hear about it, because it was evil, it was wickedness. And all we want to concern ourselves with is the religion we've conjured up out of this version of the Bible that we have today. I'm sorry. You need to learn how evil and how wicked they are, because if you don't, they're going to destroy everything. They're going to destroy it all. So you people in Great Britain, your brothers in Muslim, they are halfway your enemies and halfway your friends. You have a mutual enemy walled up there. They have moved. They used to make all the wars and do it from there. That's been moved recently, and we know where it is because of Lindsey Graham has told us all the wars are planned from Israel now. They moved all that stuff there. Hey, we got all the troops there right now. Why don't we just put an end to this bullshit right now? Why doesn't Donald Trump just tell them, fine, hit them with everything you got? They wanted nukes. Let's give them nukes. Let's light their asses up. You know, all the nations are gathered there to make war against God. Which God are they making war against? I mean, God in the Bible can mean anything. Lord in the Bible can mean anything. It can mean Baal, Molech. I mean, they got all kinds of gods in there. They got Remphan in there. They've got all kinds of stuff in there. So you don't know whether it's referring to Yahweh, Creator, Father, God, or if it's who's it referring to? So we're there. They have flipped this whole thing on us. They have flipped the whole thing upside down, and they think they're going to get away from it. And I love that lady so-and-so who's older, and she actually looks like a young girl. They got her so well made up and dolled up. But I'm looking at her now, and I'm looking at her, and I want to send the picture to my friends and say, is this a trans by chance? I mean, is that what they have us adoring? Is this another man reared as a trans because that's what their religion requires? I don't know. I'm not going to go inspect. I don't care. You people in England need to get this stuff settled out for yourself. You need to save what you can of your nation. You need to put your king back in power, and it's going to be a big job for him. It's going to be a tough job. But you know, some of you people got noble blood in you, and you don't know it. Some of you people come from warrior class from way back, and you don't know it. Your families only made it through because they kicked ass and survived. They don't want you around. They don't want me around. They've been trying to do us in since we did their dirty work and handiwork over here. They're trying to do us in here. That's why they send our best abroad, so they can wipe them out while they're over there. Somebody better get this word to our boys on those Navy vessels. I don't know about the admirals. I think they're way too high up and too deeply into the bullshit to be able to see straight. Maybe they'll figure out which way's up, which way's right. Maybe they'll figure out what's the best thing to do. And I'm not going to tell them, back off so you can fight another day. I'm saying, yeah, back off so you can bring the fight to the real bastards. Those who say we're going to have a one world religion, Chrislam. And we're going to alter that, and we're going to do this other bullshit they just published. Beware the world to come is the title of the book. It's just been published. It's got the Kabbalah on it. And in red letters, in the middle of the word where is the word war. Blood red. The book otherwise is black or white. It's right or wrong. It's one way or the other, with blood at the top and blood at the bottom and that little bitty circle at the bottom of that symbol. I ain't going to read the Kabbalah. I don't really want to read this book. Sure, I suppose I could go through sections of it with you, and we could go over it, and I could untwist it for you maybe, but I'm old. I don't need to go through that shit. You youngsters out there need to go through that. I got another book about, hey, when the owner calls in the rent, basically, and recycles the whole planet. They hid that from us, too. I think Richard Nixon was a decent president, but he made some bad decisions because the CIA screwed him up. I'm sorry, it's all controlled by that one man across the street from the Vatican, who, of course, he's the boss of the white pope. That's the black pope. And in case you're wondering who's over them, there's a gray pope. That's right. Orsini. Tom Cruise's family. He's a member of the Orsini family. Why the hell do you think that stupid asshole who doesn't give a rat's ass about another human being on the planet and as short as shit is, why do you think he was made into all of that shit? The show 24. Who was the star? Well, Jack Bauer. Oh, the name for the Rothschilds after they left Germany. And you got Octagon, which is in Switzerland, hiding out with a different skull shape. The skull shape was in Egypt. The skull shape was in South America. It was all over the place. And we had giants, gentle giants, same skull shape as you and I, that were on the planet, and things were going real good till 1812. It makes my head swim. If you've been with me this long, I hope your head is swimming too. And I hope you get down on your knees and you just say, thank you that I can breathe today. Thank you I got up today. Thank you for the sun shining today. It might not be shining where you were at. And my dreams are wicked dreams. I felt really boxed in and isolated. And my dreams are very telling to me. You need to get your ass out. You need to break out of the walls. They've got your ass walled in. They've got me walled in electronically as I'm speaking to you through around my prison cell here. You think you're free? Bullshit. It's the biggest police state ever in existence. All those other previous guys, those previous dictators, they'd be jealous and envious because they know exactly what's on our minds and what we're doing before we're going to do it. They think so. They want you to think so. No, man, I'm sorry. Yahweh knew what he did when he was making me. I just don't like the training I got. I really don't. It was just really too hard. And I early on, I told my mom, I'm not coming back. You know, it's like, hey, I'm going back home this time with Papa, man. These, you people that are trapped in this system that they've created and built here, you got to realize something. This is for all the marbles. This is not for nothing else. You can't sit on your ass waiting. I guess you could for that bright light to appear, but I don't know. Do you think it's going to be the Savior returning? Or do you think it's going to be the bombs going off or an EMF weapon? I don't know at this point. All I know is that we got lucky. One of us filed some paperwork that saved the world back in 2008. That's when they were trying to take us down. They're not ahead of their schedule. They haven't moved things ahead. We pushed them back. Yahweh pushed them back. But Yahweh wants to know, you got a backbone left. Any men out there? Hey, the women used to wield swords too. I don't wish it upon them at all because they aren't controllable. Once they go to town, they can't stop themselves and control themselves. They got so much adrenaline coursing through their veins, baby, that I'm not going to get in her way if she wants to chop that guy up because she'll chop me up to get to him. The fairer, weaker sex. Bullshit. I have ran out of some of my victuals here. The guy who's working on my coach decided to play a joke on me, which was not very funny. I've been stressed and strained ever since I bought this rig and got screwed on it. And everybody screwed me in between. And here he is thinking he's playing a joke on me, not realizing that I'm taking him literally. Get your ass out there. You got 3 hours to move the coach. And he gets pissed off at me because I don't read the message all the way through. I heard it all the way through. I got it all the way through. You kept me in this hotel for a fucking month while you took care of whatever else you need to take care of. And now you're telling me I got to jump too? And you think I'm not going to jump? You think I like being in prison in this little fucking cage in this little box? Don't joke with me. Don't fuck with me. Seriously, don't. My dad always told me it takes a bigger man to walk away from a fight. Some of my friends can't walk right now or they're having trouble walking. I mean, I'm happy I can walk. I can run, baby. Yeah, I know it's snowy out there. I'd show you, but I'm not going to do it today. I can run. I can get the spirit coursing through my veins, and it heals my body up. It does. It does marvelous things. It restores stuff, but it's such a desperate act. It's such a. It's kind of an act of desperation at that point because I am on fire. The spirit. You bet they tracked my ass. You bet they watch my ass. There's no hiding from them. My spirit, my aura is too fucking big. You can't hide this shit, buddy. When you get it going, you're going to feel it and you're going to know it. And you're going to know that the guys that are really wicked, the real predators among us, they're going to know you from the distance. You got the spirit in you. Yahweh bless you.